Hello Steve. Hello Jill. It's time to game classy.
The Leslie Jones sketch with Weezer, where they were talking about Weezer. Who was that? Hang on.
Test.
Was it John Mulaney? I think it was John.
There we go.
I think it was John Mulaney.
I might pop my peas a little harder
Pop
because
peas.
the dog ate the condom.
Yes.
Yeah, my doggy ate the foam condom.
My doggy. Oh.
Yeah. There we go. No, the
It was Matt Damon. It's Leslie Jones and Matt Damon.
Damon.
Yeah, Leslie Jones and Matt Damon. It's they're having a dinner party, and Leslie Jones and Matt Damon are like gigantic Weezer fans, respectively. But Leslie Jones only likes old Weezer, and Matt Damon likes all Weezer, and like they get into like. I know nothing about Weezer.
That sounds like the most white person argument of all time.
It is. It's really funny.
I'll take a look at it.
It's pretty funny.
Yeah.
Like if you like, I thought it was really funny, and I know dick about Weezer.
Yeah.
I assume if you know anything about Weezer, it's funnier because they make like very very tight references, and I'm just like, I have no idea what the fuck they're talking about, but it was still funny. So. You know, it's got to be something.
No, I get you there. No, Pinkerton was based off the opera Madame Butterfly, which is about a white sailor who impregnates a Japanese girl on leave, like in the 1800s.
Nice.
There you go. It's an opera. It's boring as fuck, but
well, you know what would make that opera better? Hardcore sex scene.
Or Weezer.
Why not both?
Why not both? Hardcore sex to Weezer.
Hardcore sex scene, then Weezer in hardcore sex scene.
Holly.
Huh?
That'd be the craziest juxtaposition.
Wrestle with Jimmy. Wrestle with Jimmy.
You find that way funnier than I do. No, but this Catherine Knight that I was talking about, the Australian, she's like, I was reading about it, and it was the guy that she killed. I guess she worked in a butchery factory. Mm-hmm. You know, like one of the not like a slaughter farm essentially. Mm-hmm. And she skinned him completely in one piece, and then hung up his skin, and took his corpse and sat him in a chair with a pop. She took like some of his meat and cooked it, and like as a roast, and then she like took some sleeping pills and fell asleep, and the cops came in there. They're like, "What the fuck?" And she's still alive too.
It sounds like an interesting lady.
Yeah.
Nothing beats that lady who the dude broke into her house and she overpowered him.
Oh, and then kept him for
and
sex.
Kept him as a sex slave for like a week.
Wasn't that in Russia?
She just fed him nothing. No, it was in the States. It was somewhere fucking.
I thought it was. That sounds like more like a Russian
story.
story.
It was somewhere in Bumblescum.
Bumblescum.
And she fed him nothing but a diet of water and Viagra.
Jesus Christ. Let me see. Sex slave. Do. Oh, it was in Decatur, Georgia.
See, told you it was Bumblescum.
That is pretty Bumblescum.
I told you.
All right, so welcome to Game Classy.
Trust me, if it's a shitty story about the South, I know what happened in the South.
Well, yeah, normally it's Florida. That's where you normally would want it to happen.
Well, yeah, I mean Florida. Well, but the thing about that is that story is not nearly intense nor weird enough to be Florida.
Did you do the Florida challenge thing?
Yes,
I think we talked about. Yeah, we talked about that. Yeah.
Yeah, mine was a Porsche being driven into the ocean at top speed.
Yeah. What was it? Oh yeah. Anyway, welcome to Game Classy. I'm your host Joe, and with me as always is my co-host Steve.
Hello.
Did you end up? You didn't go to Adepticon at all?
No.
It was actually pretty cool this year. I got a lot of news out of it to cover this.
There was like an absolute like I saw the wall to wall smelly man sausage was definitely was present there, and I was not about to go and get into that mess for no particular reason.
It wasn't bad. I think I had the hardest time walking around the Sigmar room. Just because it was packed a little too tight. Like, the tables were too close together.
Yeah.
Like, there was no rows. Like, you need a little bit more space. You know, you got some fat man ass there that you need to space that out a little bit more.
Yeah, well,
there's plenty of open space. They could have opened it up.
One of the biggest problems with tournaments, and I would really like tournament organizers to at least compensate a little bit, and I've had this issue at lots of tournaments, is they never have... They always cut it exactly like your table is exactly 6x4 or whatever. Like you need a zone. Like if anything, like a buffer zone, so you're not bumping into the other person's game, and or you have some place to put your fucking dead models.
Yeah. Well, I wouldn't put my dead shit there because then the other guy gets like rah, crush. The guy you're next to.
But that's what I'm saying. You need a if there was designated there's a.
I know what you're saying. You want a little bit of end space so that you can put a book or a soda.
Right. Something there.
Yeah, something there.
If not necessarily casualties, something like tokens, dice. There's always a bunch of shit on the table.
That's why I bring my own separate little table. I bring a little fold-out table and I do tournament gaming.
That's disgusting.
What? Just because I think ahead?
Yeah.
That's where I'll put like my soda and maybe a sandwich.
You know what? I would only accept that if it was an extremely small fold-out table that was just made for like a sandwich and a soda. Like it had a cup holder. In that case, I would be like, that's genius. But if you just bring a regular fold-out table, no.
Yeah.
But if it was specifically catered to your tiny little meal, I would really like that.
There was the Sigmar room was packed this year. The Sigmar doubles was gigantic. It was probably
there was a I saw that on Facebook. I was like, Jesus Christ!
There was
everyone played in that tournament.
There was a fuck ton of players. I mean, still not anywhere near the size of 40K, but it was.
But also the 40K one is 4 people, not 2.
Well, it all depends. No, the 40K is the team tournament. There's also a 40K,
is 4 people, isn't it?
Yeah, there's a 40K singles as well.
Right. Well, yeah.
I don't think it was anywhere near as big as the 40K singles. I don't think it was anywhere near as big as the 40K friendly.
No, I mean, no way.
Yeah.
We've discussed how big 40K is.
If you're not playing any other game, you're playing 40K.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, what do you think about this game of Team Yankee? No, you're playing 40K.
You're playing 40K, kid.
Yeah. Yeah, that's something that you can hobby and hope that you will get to play someday.
Yeah.
With someone who has a similar interest to you.
Yes.
But no, you're playing 40K. Everything. The Lord of the Rings tournament was really nice. It wasn't big. It was pretty standard, I think. And
it was bigger than last year's.
It was bigger than last year's.
There wasn't one last year.
It's true. No, there was one last year, wasn't there?
No, they had an event, but not a tournament.
Well, maybe this was an event too. I don't know if it was an event or a tournament. I didn't really. I just was like, oh, look, Lord of the Rings models. Touch. Touch. You
just grab an Aragorn and like run around.
Fly, you fool! And throw it.
Throw Gandalf.
Toss me. I toss the dwarf.
My Gandalf.
And the guys are like, oh, if I could stand up, I'd punch you.
If my suspenders were about to burst, I would get up and.
How was I? Oh, that was with with Lord of the Rings. It was like I was just imagining the conversation up there. It's like, oh, it's so good that they're re-releasing all these Lord of the Rings figures. Oh, you buying a lot of the new Lord of the Rings figures? No, I still have my ones from 20 years ago. I'm just happy that they're releasing new stuff. So you're not buying anything or supporting the new figures coming out? No, why would I do that? It's just like, oh, that's Games Workshop in a nutshell. And you wonder why they're constantly like putting stuff out of print and doing all that, because you have jackasses like that. I mean, I'm the same way. I'm not.
I'll buy the new models if they're significantly better. There's like example, the new 3 Hunters. I would take my old 300s and throw them in the trash to buy the new ones. That's how much better they are.
I agree.
Other example, the new Mask of Slaanesh. If I had a current Mask of Slaanesh, I would absolutely not buy the new one. Because the new one is fine. It's not a bad model, but like it is not a significant improvement over the original. It looks almost exactly the same, just in a different pose.
I wish they got Juan Diaz to go back and resculpt.
Juan Diaz, was he the multi boob?
He is a multi boob one.
Yeah, they're not going to do that.
No, I'm aware of that because he would be like, "Can I sculpt the titties?
More titty?
Should I put more titties on these models?" And they're like, "No, we want all the titties covered up." I cannot do that.
I do not understand. Do not understand.
Maybe there are some translation issues between my English and your English.
Yeah, no, I want more titty. You say cover up titty? No.
Can I cover up more titties? Yeah, that'd be okay. No, I not do that.
I do not cover them up.
I do not cover.
I make more. I do not cover them up.
I make back titties.
They now have eight instead of 4, and no cover up. And this one, you see her labia. No,
you're getting Eastern European with your accent there.
It doesn't matter. We definitely can't do that.
Then he like starts doing a mariachi, not a mariachi. What's the thing where he's like dun 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 dun. You know, he's
A
like,
salsa dance?
No, oh god, I can't think of what it's called.
Flamenco?
He starts doing the flamenco. Yeah.
He's just Vega from Street Fighter.
Yes.
He puts the mask on.
His sculpting tools are his like claws.
claws.
Like the three sculpting tools, just taking care of it.
It's
Yeah.
perfect.
If you do not want titties, why you hire Juan Diaz?
Yeah. That is Juan Diaz
Juan
specialty.
Diaz.
Juan Diaz.
Boom.
And he's like, very good. I will take my leave. And he puts the mask on and just does backflips out of there. Yo-ho! And he's just gone. Like, damn, did Juan Diaz just put on a Vega mask and backflip out of this meeting? He did.
Well, bring in the Perry brothers, and all of a sudden M. Bison shows up. Yeah. All GW just hires nothing but Street Fighter villains as their sculptors.
You'd appreciate in the Exceed Street Fighter card game.
Yeah.
Bison's special passive ability is called Bison Dollars.
Is it really?
It is.
Nice.
It's called Bison Dollars.
Which is how much they'll have to pay when I kidnap the queen.
They kidnapped their queen. Fucking Raul Julia, what a treasure.
No, that's what we were talking about prequel posting. Why can't they just go to like Street Fighter posting? It's so much more memeable.
I love Street Fighter, and Street Fighter's got some solid moments. But what I was saying before is like the prequels sucked, but the memes, they don't redeem the prequels because the prequels still suck. But like they're very memeable films because of like the shitty dialogue, the facial expressions, like the ham-fisted like performances. Like everyone was like in like just very hammy in those movies.
Oh yeah, I will agree they're very memeable. My problem is that the memes make people think that they're good movies.
Well,
they make like, oh, this movie must be good because it's memeable. No, that's no. Anyway, speaking of prequels,
is there some way to learn this power?
We were is there some way to learn this? No want. The Fantasy Flight with all the new Legion X-Wing stuff is going into the prequels. They're dipping their toes.
General Grievous versus Obi-Wan.
Obi-Wan. Hello there. That's not even how he says it.
Hello, General Kenobi.
Why does the robot have asthma?
Because he's not a robot. He's a cyborg.
It's not a cyborg. You can't have like lungs and be considered a cyborg.
Yeah, you can.
That's bullshit.
Cyborg. If you could have like if you have a robot hand, you're a cyborg.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Is like you can't be like 99% robot and 1% organic.
I think he's a lot of organic. I think his arms aren't organic, but like
this is the problem
because his face is like underneath his like mask thing. And I think his main body is just. I think he's just an armor.
Listen.
But I don't fucking know.
This isn't well thought out in any way, shape, or form.
No, I'm just saying. I think that's
he's
what
a
he
robot.
Is. But he's got lungs and skin. You can see it under his face.
A robot.
He's not a robot. He has skin.
He's a robot.
He's not a robot. His arms are robot, but he has skin.
Yeah.
And he breathes.
Legion wasn't huge this year at Adepticon. There was a couple tables. X-Wing was still pretty big.
Yeah,
not as big as last year,
no.
but I definitely expected the decrease.
It'll
taper off.
Yeah, as time goes on.
I didn't see any Armada.
No.
No.
Someone will buy the Superstar Destroyer due to novelty, but other than that, no.
Yeah. They did have some of the I guess they had like a special like droid ship, like some limited edition that sold out right away. I'm like, I need my droid ship.
Is that Regal?
Is that Regal? Damn it, I should have did that. No droid ship. Is that Regal?
Is that Regal?
And the guy's Asian behind the counter. He's like, "Are you making fun of me?" Just throw smoke bombs. Take off.
Crazy purple knockout gas.
Yeah. That was kind of a big deal. I like the move to the prequel stuff. So the stuff looks good. I mean, they're not bad sculpts. There's some bad casting going on, but they're not bad sculpts.
Now I can finally have I can do my conversion of General Grievous making out with Darth Vader. So
you can.
I mean,
can they really make out? They have two faceplates.
Well, you have Vader with his helmet off.
Oh, okay.
And you have Grievous take his mask off. So
yeah, but we don't know what Grievous looks like underneath the mask.
I'll have to sculpt it myself.
And you know what it looks like? Ben Shapiro.
No. He's too tall.
Well, that's why he has robot legs to make him look taller.
No, he's too tall.
But when you take away the robot, he's got little tiny legs inside the robot legs.
No, Ben Shapiro's already in the films. He's the guy with the chance cube.
It's cute.
Yeah, he's the one who's like, the mind tricks don't work on me. Own my money. Yeah.
He's Watto?
Yeah, he's Watto.
Okay. That's kind of racist.
It's Ben Shapiro. It's fine.
Yeah, they have the all that's like the big
Debate me, you coward! Oh, I'm tiny and Shapiro.
I represent the Lollipop Guild.
Fucking Oompa Loompa.
Yeah. So yeah, that was the big deal from Fantasy Flight. Not a ton of new release stuff. I mean, they talked about some of the release stuff for Games Workshop. The new box set. They
Forbidden Power.
worst box set ever.
I don't know. I really do like the dude on the fucking boat.
The boat.
Yeah, the boat's pretty cool. And like I feel that a lot of the stuff in that thing, it's very mixed bag. Like I like those obelisk things, pretty
Yeah.
cool.
But they already released those for Shadespire.
They did, but I mean, this way if you don't have them. So I like those obelisk things. I like the boatman, and I like there's that one like toppled like arcane looking piece.
Yeah.
And everything else is kind of like
We should get an army of the boatmen, just like row your boat.
Be pretty cool. No. They'd be
No, they do the row your boat in a round like in Star Trek V.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So it's
The undiscovered country.
row your boat gently down the stream.
Yeah. They do it in a round, and then Spock.
And one of them is doing Frere Jacques, and he's like, "No, that's not the right song."
Frere Jacques, the only French most Americans know.
Yep. Dormez-vous.
That's it. That's after that.
Semi la matina.
I know that, but most people don't even know that part.
Yeah.
Which is actually how you probably pronounce it in French, because they just ignore
They're
everything.
not Eastern European.
No, that's what I'm saying. They just it's French. Like you just ignore all of the word letters and you just kind of run it all together.
Baguette.
And they all kind of baguette.
My
Would you like a baguette?
my coworker has to do a project with his kid to build the Eiffel Tower out of cardboard. And I told him to just buy a baguette, hot glue it straight up, and put a beret on it. It's just like done.
You have to French laugh at that.
No, only after after the presentation.
Oh.
Yeah, when you get a good grade.
The Eiffel Tower. The Nazis wanted to blow it up, but one guy said nah, and they didn't.
All right then.
And millions of internet memes are made about it.
There's your history lesson of the day.
After the Nazis were like, "Hey, we're gonna lose this war. Blow up the Eiffel Tower," and the one guy was like, "Nah." And all the French were really happy with that Nazi. They're like, "Oh."
Apathetic non-destruction is something that's very humorous to me.
Well, yeah, that's like the entire end of World War II for a lot of things.
It's just like
except for the Americans, who were very much about destroying things.
Well, I mean,
and
we,
the Soviets,
we still are.
Yeah.
It's just like hey, we could blow up these landmarks before we leave. I don't want to lug the explosives over there.
We could blow it up, but I have to be in the discotheque by 1300 hours. I'm gonna go dance to techno music.
Right inside. Hey, fun boys, get a room. Watch out for the CD change on my trunk, idiot.
99 the Luftballons.
9 und 9 ist Luftballons.
Sitting outside balloons. I don't know. You just make up words and make it sound German. That's how I do it with the French. You go, Zamatofon. Just run everything together.
I was very pleasantly surprised the other day. I was listening to this just random segue. I was listening to Spotify, and an anime theme song came on my Spotify, and I was just like, oh yeah, cool, this is a good show. And it started, the lyrics started, and I'm like, wait a minute, and I look at it and I'm like, this is a German cover. And it was in German, and I was like, this is actually pretty cool.
The Germans.
Yeah, so I was like, that's actually pretty neat. That I just kind of Japanese people love the
Germans. Yes, we are aware.
Well, not necessarily the German people, but they like the German.
I was gonna say in the 40s it was kind of like that's where it really ramped up.
Japan has like favored foreign languages.
Yeah,
and they favor English, German, and Russian. Those are the languages that they favor to use because they like the way they sound. And there's a shit ton of like things in anime or in this and that where it's like they'll say stuff in English and there's no real practical reason to. They're just like, nah, I just like the way it sounds. Or like in German, same thing. Like Dracula X, also Rondo of Blood.
Yeah.
which where you play as Richter Belmont. The Super Nintendo version was really shitty, but there was the original version was for TurboGrafx CD, and then was PC Engine, whatever. You play as the guy you play as in the very beginning of Symphony of the Night. If you've never played Dracula X Rondo of Blood, at the beginning of Symphony of the Night, you play the end of that game.
Oh, okay.
But that game, the entire intro is just German.
Oh.
Like the entire introduction is just in German. The best part is when I first bought the port, I was really happy that it was in German with Japanese subtitles. They did not do any change. Like the game was just an actual port of the original. So like I was just like, oh, it's in German. Fuck, the subtitles are Japanese. I was like, it's pretty cool.
Well, it's authentic then.
Yeah, exactly. It was fun. But yeah, and I was just like, oh yeah, that's right. I forgot they randomly really like German shit.
1, 2, 3.
Also a humorous note, Hitots is 1, Mitots is 2, and Deutsche is German.
Okay.
It sounds like you're going to go to no, it's German.
Yeah, Deutsche. That would make sense because it sounds like Dutch.
Right.
Or
yeah.
Deutsch.
Yes.
Sorry. All right. Adepticon. Crystal Brush might be leaving next year. Did you know that?
Where is it going to go?
No idea. They might not even do it.
Well,
let me tell you this. Crystal Brush, as we said on this podcast before, is kind of a clusterfuck when it comes to actual judging. There's no reason to enter it other than if you want to waste your entry fee and maybe have someone say like, it's pretty good. But
yeah, I mean,
it's not
you know if you should enter the Crystal Brush, and no one listening to this podcast, and neither of us should enter it.
No, and so it's like everything looked good, and everything was almost pretty stock. I mean, there wasn't like crazy conversions like you've seen in the past. The dioramas, of course, were all mostly scratch built and everything that. But the really funny part is that this is Cool Mini who puts on the Crystal Brush. Mm-hmm. There was no Cool Mini winners aside from the Cool Mini categories.
Yeah.
So everyone that won was like Games Workshop.
Yeah, the
40K.
entire reason they added those Cool Mini categories was so people would paint their models.
Well, I think it's like a whole thing to showcase their models, and no one is buying. And like, Cool Mini is not only just Cool Mini models, but they also have like a ton of independent manufacturing that they sell through their website.
Right.
And there was nothing. Like they don't. And so I'm wondering if there's going to be a Crystal Brush next year. They've already Adepticon addressed the rumor. They're like, we're working together. We're seeing if this can happen. I think it'd be smarter if Adepticon dropped Crystal Brush and did their own competition.
Yeah.
Just listen, you're already in the city of Chicago. Get Tim Lyson and a couple of the other, like, there's a shit ton of Golden Demon winners and Slayer Sword winners out here to
do your judging,
because most of them probably don't enter the Crystal Brush.
Right.
And then you could go from there, and it could be a serious painting competition and not have to worry about the online judging through the Cool Mini or Not site, which is terrible. Has the worst user interface of all time.
We'll call it the Beef and Hot Dogs Painting Challenge.
Beef and hot dogs.
Beef and Hot Dogs Painting Challenge.
I like it being beefing, beefing hot dogs.
Beefing hot dogs.
Instead of beef and hot dogs.
Oh, okay.
Beefing hot dogs.
Beefing Hot Dogs Painting Challenge.
And a big fat guy is your trophy.
Yes, and he's got a beef sandwich in one hand and a hot dog in the other.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I got my beefing hot dogs.
Beefing.
Yes.
I mean, it's a beef sandwich with a hot dog inside of it. Ooh. That actually sounds pretty good.
It'll be pretty good.
It's like a beef
it's like
and
a combo.
Yeah, it's
yeah.
like a big. I get that, but instead of a sausage, you get
it's just an
yourself
actual full hot dog.
Yeah.
with all the trimmings.
Yeah. I mean, listen.
A Chicago dog.
I love Italian sausage as much as the next guy. But I do like hot dogs. You know, it's not. I always just don't have a taste to eating it. I don't feel up to eating an entire Italian sausage. It's hard. It's hard to eat an entire Italian sausage.
You're like sweating halfway through. You're like, fuck. Why did I get this sausage?
Exactly.
You like want to sleep. I gotta take a nap before I finish this thing.
Exactly. Yeah. It's like every great once in a while, you're like, oh, this is gonna be good. But it's like most of the time, you get really tired halfway through Italian sausage.
Maxwell Street, I fucking annihilate.
Yeah, but it's a Polish sausage.
Yeah.
That's not an Italian sausage. Yeah. Italian sausage is a whole other animal, my friend. It's first of all a little bit thicker. Second of all, you got caraway seeds in there. You got all these other. Sometimes they're a little spicy.
There's a lot of things.
There's a lot of things. Polish sausage is literally just like beef or pork.
That's what the trophy should be. It should be a fat dude with a beef sandwich, just a beef sandwich.
Yeah.
And third place, he's kind of got like the beef sandwich at a distance, like he's like kind of gazing at it. And then second place, the beef sandwich is closer. And then first place, he's just like it's halfway in his
through
mouth.
The mouth. Yeah. I get it. Yeah.
That'd be pretty good.
That would be pretty fun.
Yeah, it'd be good.
Yeah. I think that would be the smart move for Aderpticon. Crystal Brush, I don't think is as much of a draw. I didn't see as many entries. I think it's kind of worn out its welcome.
Well, I mean, yeah, people are.
I mean, there was still a lot of entries.
Yeah, of course, there's gonna be a bunch of entries. It's the biggest miniatures convention of the year. But the biggest hurdle for Crystal Brush is you have to get past the fucking gauntlet of mouth breathers voting on your fucking figures.
Yeah,
like, and they usually do a reasonable first cut job. But I definitely see a lot of figures. I'm just like, that shouldn't be in first cut. Or like, I'll see when they'll be like, how did this not make first cut? Because you get people judging it on pictures. Like even if you're a pro, you can look at a picture and be like, that looks really good, but you can't tell the story of a model just from the picture. It just doesn't work. Like you can say it looks very good from this angle or it looks very bad from this angle, but you miss like all the good, like some of the good details. Like is it like there's like what was it? There was I watched a dude paint. He said like for paint, he called it painting for pictures, where like he basically just did an insane amount of work on a model, but only for one angle. So like the rest of the model was actually just bare.
Yeah.
Like it was just fucking plastic. And he's like, nope, this is the angle I'm taking a picture from. So this is how I painted it. And he's like, and he because it was a guide on how to do paint demos for army tests and things like that for commission. He's like if you want to do a commission, don't paint the whole model to give him a test paint. Do this, take it from this picture and take it from this angle and say, hey, do you like the way this looks? Because it's much faster than finishing the whole model, and it still gives you a look of what the whole model will look like without having to actually paint the whole thing.
that's kind of dumb.
No, it was fast.
It seemed like it would be harder to like be like, all right, this is exactly where I stop. And like, just paint the whole fucking model. It's easy.
Yeah.
It's not like how much are you charging for this commission? Like, if you're charging like a fuck ton and you're spending a fuck ton of time.
I think that's what it was. I think he was one of those like, oh, you want me to paint 3 models? That's $600. I think it was one of those.
Okay, I get that. Yeah, the on that end, yeah.
Yeah, it was not like you want me to paint your entire army like in one shot. Cool. It wasn't that.
Yeah.
Speaking of, what did you use that dip yet? The quick shade?
I did.
What'd you think?
It's fucking floor wax. Min wax. That's all it is. It's 100%. I thought it was like reformulated or something.
It's a little less than Minwax. Well, the one I used was definitely not just Minwax.
Well, I mean, I'm sure it's a little. I reused it, but I thinned it quite a bit with not isopropyl alcohol. Something like that. I can't think of what it is.
Because I've used both Minwax like dip and I used the quick shade, and I found that I tried both with the dip method, and with the Minwax I had to fucking like hammer shit off. Like I had to fucking shake it like crazy, and when I left it to dry there were still some like pretty bad chunks where like the Minwax just pooled and I couldn't get rid of it. I didn't have that problem as nearly as much with the quick shade. The quick shade like really came off after a few shakes. So
yeah, well, I was.
It felt like it was a thinner Minwax.
I was doing it with scenery, so it's a lot bigger of a model first, so I had to paint it on.
Okay.
And I was not very happy with a lot of it, so what I did was I thinned it down with the thinner, a paint thinner.
Yeah.
And then after that, it was much easier to use, and I'm sure it will last longer. But the whole process of pouring it into a cup and then measuring out, making sure you got the right balance on the thinner, it's a pain in the ass. But I mean, I guess for the price, it's not terrible. I could have done it with the Minwax and just thinned it a lot more. Yeah, I mean that's just my own personal.
Fair enough.
But I was doing it with the terrain, so it's a lot more. I'm printing out another Warlord Titan, so I might use it on that. I did the 30K stuff this year, which is great. I found out that it's not a tournament; it's an event, kind of like what you were talking about with the Lord of the Rings stuff. So like, there's no like, oh, it's a big tournament. They have a bunch of little games going on, a bunch of big stuff. They do Zone Mortalis. They do big doubles and singles and whatever. They do like I did the Warlord event, which was fun. It was me versus another guy in the Warlord. The only problem with Warlord events is that whoever gets the first turn, kills the other Warlord.
Yeah.
There's really nothing more about it. Like if you go in there with like your volcano cannons and the tri-lasers, that guy's dead at the end of the first turn.
Yeah.
I mean, he's got 30 points of damage, but you do a fuck ton of damage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why Titans are stupid.
I mean, that's why I only pay like $45 for my Titan minus the...
Well, also you have a problem. You have the itis.
I have the 3D printinitis.
You have the itis.
Well, I have the Can I do it? Should I do it?
That's the thing.
I'm gonna
You're just
do
like
it.
the Jurassic Park scientists.
I am. I don't. I never stop to think if I should.
Yes, you only care about if you could.
Yeah, that's it. That's exactly it. It's like, should I do this? Can I do this?
I'm gonna do this.
I'm gonna do this.
There was a pretty big. I missed this entirely. But there was actually a pretty big attended Fallout tournament. There was like 40 players.
I didn't see it.
Yeah, I saw it.
But that makes sense.
I
Though.
saw it on Facebook. I was like, wow, there's 40 people in that tournament. That's pretty cool.
There's a small community of Fallout players I know, at least in this area,
Yeah.
that Fallout sells pretty well. I'm assuming it has a lot to do with the game. People really love the game, the video game.
Yeah, well, the minis game's good too. I like the minis game's really fun because the way the AI works is really cool.
Yeah.
Like they did a really good job of capturing the feel of like the Fallout world with the way they set the enemies to operate, which is cool.
Yeah, but I'm sure it's just people get into it because of the video game.
Oh,
and
yeah.
Then, yeah. Like if they did like a decent Skyrim miniatures game, they would probably make some money on it. But they would have to have done that like 5 years ago in
Yeah.
order to. I don't know when Skyrim come out.
And Skyrim keeps being re-released, but I think
know.
it was first released about 5 years ago. I think it's about
Yeah. The let's see what else. The Aderpticon, the Crystal Brush,
I like to call him my Ineptus Mechanicus.
Ineptus. A Song of Ice and Fire. They, for the VIG gamers, the very important gamers set, Cool Me or Not gave them an entire Song of Ice and Fire box set, core set, is part of their bundle.
Well, I'm sure it'll work out as well as it worked for what was the one, Rune Wars?
Rune Wars.
Yeah.
Here's the thing, though, and this is what I think is pretty important, is that they had so Cool Me or Not gave this to all the very important gamers. I don't know. I think only there was like
The VIG.
There was like, I don't know, maybe there was 200 or 300 very important gamer sets that were released. So they set out 3 of those, and then on top of that, they also brought a fuck ton of the other miniatures for Song of Ice and Fire. So all the Night Watch stuff, all of the separate boxes, and they sold through a fuck ton of that shit.
Well, the minis, I like I said before, the Song of Ice and Fire minis sell
Yeah.
well, but nobody plays the game because people use those minis for not that game.
Yeah, I didn't see a ton of people playing in like the tournament that they had, but they did have a bunch of stuff, and I did see people playing. It was kind of an interesting business tactic on their end to do that, to see how well that was going to work out. I'd be interested. Like, I think by this time next year, we'll see how many are being sold.
I think you're just going to see a shit ton at the Games Plus auction, or people just using them for D&D.
Yeah.
Like they're great D&D models.
Yeah,
so
I say that'd be best for Saga. That would be my
oh yeah, that'd be good too.
thing to use for. If you want to do like a Game of Thrones Saga, that would be the miniatures to use for it.
Yeah,
it works perfectly for that. Let's see. So we were talking about paints with the dip and everything like that. Games Workshop is redoing their paint line again.
Oh really?
Have you
From
heard this?
Top to, I haven't.
Not top down. They're adding a fuck ton of older paints, older colors back into the range, from what I'm hearing.
Okay.
So we might get our old Goblin Green back, so we can do our
Ooh.
bases in the Goblin Green.
Nice. I'm still sticking with because they jacked up the price again by like 50 cents a bottle.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna switch as my GW paints run out. I'm gonna switch to the equivalent Army Painter. I'm only gonna use GW paints that don't exist in Army Painter range, which used to be a lot. But now the Army Painter range is gigantic, so they kind of have a color match for just about everything. I think there's only a few things. They even have Blood for the Blood God and Nurgle's Rot.
Yeah.
So
yeah, there's a few that I'm
I'll
specific.
still use the texture paints. I really like the GW texture paints. They're very good for like exactly what they're supposed to
I
do.
like the GW inks most of all.
Oh, the washes? Yeah, they're good.
Well, they're supposedly either redoing the washes or they are setting up a new set of washes that are designed to sink into cracks.
Because if you use the gloss ones, the gloss ones are incredible.
The
gloss,
the technicals?
the Nuln Oil gloss.
Oh,
or
yeah,
the
no, I don't like
Ryko-
those.
You need to use those on anything you're doing that's metallic. They're absurd. They're actually like ridiculous. Like I did a couple Stormcasts for. Oh well, yeah. For Shadespire, I did Stormcast because I did mine one in the turquoise armor, but I did another one in like the gold armor, and like no shit, like I just did the gold spray and then the the sepia gloss, and like the armor was just done.
Yeah,
I was just like, what the fuck?
I don't like
It was
any
magic.
gloss on my models. Mine have to be completely flat.
If it's over the metal, that's why I said specifically over metal, because the way the gloss interacts with the metal, it doesn't leave it glossy looking. It just looks like metallic.
It doesn't matter to me because I'm matting that so hard.
All right.
I don't
Well, then
want
matte seal it.
any shine. I do. I matte seal. I can't find a matte sealer that I like anymore because I used to use Purity Seal.
Tester's dull coat.
Tester's dull coat is too glossy. It leaves too much of a gloss on there. It does.
What's wrong with your dull coat?
100% too glossy. I don't like it's not. I'm not saying it doesn't matte it. It does matte it, but it's not as matte as I want it to be. Purity Seal used to be like the insanest matte
Then it
you
sounds like
ever
you have
get.
to hand seal, sir.
Hand sealing doesn't even do it.
You got to use the 50-50 PVA glue and matte seal hand, and then water that down. And
Maybe I have to do that.
I think that's what you got to do.
Yeah.
I think that's what you got to do. That's what I did on my Nurgle guys. All my Nurgle mans are hand sealed.
Yeah, but they're too glossy for me. I've seen your guys. I mean, I don't.
Well,
have,
a lot of my models are glossy because they have Nurgle's rot on Blood for Blood on them.
I'm not saying I don't like your guys, or I don't think your guys are well painted. I'm just saying they're not mad enough for me. I like it. It's got to be ultra
I
matte.
think you have a problem.
I want them to absorb all sunlight. If they were just pure,
You want to look at them and go blind? Like,
Yes.
Like all of the light is just drawn out of your eyes?
Yes, exactly. That's what I want out of it. I
see.
want a black hole of matte.
I see.
Dwayne texted me. He was like, because he was painting his Dark Oath, and he was like, I brushed on, and I put on a matte, and it took off all the facial detail. I'm like, what? I was like, did you brush it on? He's like, yeah. I'm like, that's why I use. That's why I got to use the. That's why I use the.
You have to thin that shit so like basically when I paint on my matte sealant coats, I do 2 coats and it's basically like water.
Yeah. Vallejo does a matte paint that works well in the airbrush.
Okay.
That's nice. I don't use it too much. You got to be careful because it can clog your airbrush pretty quickly if you're not quick with it. If you leave it in there too long, it'll definitely clog it up.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So the fucking matte. But yeah, supposedly they're doing that with the inks, where the inks are going to be able to recess better and leave no puddles on the actual flat surfaces anymore. Did you see the video they did?
No.
50 Shades of Grey.
No.
Oh, so they're making fun of 50 Shades of Grey,
Right.
where he's like, it's my special room, and she's like, oh, and he's like, yes, do you want to see it? And they open it up, and it's just all plastic models. None of them are painted. It's Delanois' house, is what it is.
Oh, nice.
So it goes in there, and it's all just unpainted plastic, and they're like, and then it goes to black, and it says, "Gray no more, coming this summer." So they're gonna redo all that. The rumor. This is a rumor. I would put it at a plausibility of 30% plausibility that GW is going to release their own airbrush, a Games Workshop airbrush.
Like an actual airbrush?
An actual airbrush that you connect to a compressor. Here's the problem with that. It's going to cost $1,000 because it's Games Workshop. We all know, Games Workshop tools. Oh, you like that handsaw? Yeah, that $45 handsaw that they sell. You could go to a hobby store and buy that for $5. Yeah. The razor blades that they sell that have no reusable blades on them.
I do like their clippers.
They do use, but the clippers you could get. Army Painter makes the exact same clippers.
They don't. I have,
or at least the newer.
I have multiple brands of clippers. I have when I look at the sprue, I'm just like, this brand. I
do that too.
Yeah, I'm just like, this sprue needs this brand of clipper.
Yeah. The clippers that I like using the best right now is you go to a Micro Center or a Fry's. They sell actual wire clippers those are really nice. Those are super solid. I'm a big fan of those.
I'm just using bolt cutters going forward. Yeah, just
some Jaws of Life.
Yeah, some Jaws of Life. It takes the mold lines right out because it just disintegrates the model. Yeah.
Then you inhale it.
And
the model becomes part
I
of
inhale
you.
the dust and I just show up to the tournament and they're like, "Where's your army?" Inside me.
You cough it up. Oh, Trogoth. Nice. Yeah. So I know you're not doing Shadespire anymore, but the Shadespire tournament, 3 of the top 10 were the Ghosties. The Ghosties with the Mosties. That was a kind of a big shock to me. I
haven't been following it for multiple releases,
yeah.
so I don't know.
The Trogoth actually placed, even though he was just released. But we talked about it on the podcast before. He's kind of a bruiser, so It's pretty interesting. I like looking at the there's a website, I can't remember the name of it, but they actually show you the decks that people used for that, and they it's like one of those card generators where they just link you to the card.
Right.
But you can look at the top decks and kind of base your own deck off of those, what you like, what you don't like, what worked, what don't work. But I thought that was pretty interesting. And then that's pretty much all the Aderpticon stuff. It was just nice to see people.
Was there a privateer press room?
They were in the main hall by the Sigmar stuff, but they were like tucked away in the corner. There was not a very big privateer press tournament, not like it's been in the past. It was very small. Privateer Press had a very tiny presence this year too. It was like just a small little booth with just some stuff in there. Fucking Games Workshop. The line for the Games Workshop booth was ridiculous. Ridiculous.
Forge World or
no, it was just Games Workshop. They had some Forge World stuff there, but it's like, even still, you get the stuff delivered to your local Warhammer store for free.
It's true.
So, I mean, if you're maybe out of state and you want to buy something and you want to save like $10-15, then you could do that. But you could also do that on eBay and save $10-15 on top of the price, as well as get cheaper shipping on it. I don't understand these people.
Well, Forge World at least makes sense because you can get it there and
but
get
it's
it in
not
your
like
hand.
they didn't have like they didn't have like a fuck ton of Forge World on.
Yeah, no, Games Workshop stuff, you got me on that one. But Forge World, at least, I'm like, okay, sure.
What they did have that I kind of wanted to buy is they had a Warhammer dice box, like a dice tray, that the kind of like the one they use on Warhammer TV. And I was like, oh, I kind of like that. I wonder how much. $45. Go fuck yourself, Games Workshop.
But those are official Games Workshop dice trays.
I know, but it's still, I was like, I don't know why I get irrationally angry. I'm just like, go fuck yourself, Games Workshop.
They'll give yourself better dice rolling luck.
No. Duncan was there. He was at the
Advocating too thin coats.
Probably. But, and that's the thing, too, is if Duncan's going to be at Aderpticon, get him to judge your fucking painting competition or whatever. Games Workshop, do the Golden Demons at Aderpticon.
See, now that would be very clever to just drop Crystal Bush and do it as Golden Demon.
Holy fuck, it would be amazing to have the first Golden Demon in the U.S. in like 10 years up there.
And then what you do is you have you have the Golden Demon, and then you have the Adepticon side painting competition, and you make Golden Demon is all the GW stuff, and then the side painting is stuff that isn't GW.
Well, yeah, and
that would be smart too.
I was also thinking that if they do a painting competition, what they really need to do is they need to do an amateur round, and they need to do a masters round or professional round. Like, I don't know how you judge it, because like, oh, you've won a painting competition before. Do I go in masters or do you go in amateur? Well, it depends on what painting competition you won. If you won your local bumfuck store painting competition, you go in amateurs. If you won a crystal brush before, if you won like a first in crystal brush, you go in the masters. That's what the level has to be. I think it would be up to the judges or whatever, but
I think that'd be really too hard to arbitrate.
It would be, but I think it has to happen in order to get more people to paint and to enter. Because if you could do that and get more people to enter, it would be better. I mean, I'm sure there would always be controversy. I mean, the fact that, what's it called? That Jordan Peele movie, the old one. Not
Get
Us.
Out?
Get Out. Get Out was put into like the comedy category.
That's really weird.
I know. And at the Golden Globes, there's always going to be controversy, but whatever. Most people, you'd be like, okay, I know that person's name. They're definitely in the Masters category. If you know the person is.
You know what they can make it very easy. Just make it based on their competition. Be like, you can enter it the first year, and first year means like you've never done painting competition before, and then open entries other than that.
I would
because it's the same difference, and it would be a very easy way to cut it. And then you get 1 year as being an amateur, and then the next year you have to enter in the open.
Maybe. I would still say my perfect way of doing it would be you have amateurs and professionals. Professionals are, do you do this for a living? Do you make money doing this? If yes, then you go to professional. If not, you go to amateur. Because there are still some great amateur painters who do fantastic jobs, but they just don't sell their shit, And that's the people that should go in the amateur round. And the professionals, they need to be like yes, I make money doing this. This goes here. And I'm not talking like, I slogged out this entire army of flesh eater courts for this guy for $300. That's not professional. You go back to the amateurs. Yeah, I'm talking about the guys who charge $600 for a single model.
Yeah,
the guys who charge per hour, not per figure.
Yes,
those are the people that need to go and the professional. That's the way it needs to be done. Some non-Adepticon news that actually came out. I'm kind of excited about this. Mophidius is doing a John Carter of Mars RPG.
Yeah, it's out. I think.
Is it out already?
It's either out or imminent.
I'd be very excited about that because I love John Carter.
I know. Actually, I'm almost certain it's out. Actually.
Yeah, I would love. That's one of my favorite sci-fi book series of all time. John Carter of Mars.
Sounds like you've got a game to buy for your next Halloween adventure.
No one else knows John Carter of Mars. Like I'm like, we're gonna be doing John Carter of Mars, and they're like, what?
Don't tell anyone what it is.
Like,
just give
based
them
off that Disney movie, John Carter.
Kinda. Just don't tell anyone what it is. Just give them their characters.
With that kid from Friday Night Lights who played Gambit in the movie.
That's the key. What you do is you just give them their characters and play the game. Don't tell them what it is.
I know. It's such a great like sci-fi world. Like the green Martians and the yellow Martians and the red Martians. It's all real fun.
I like that. I like that he teleported his consciousness to Mars, but his body is still on Earth.
Yeah,
that's pretty weird.
And he gets like on Mars, and he's like this huge buff guy. He's like, got a huge cock and blah. I don't think he didn't say he had a huge cock, but he had a huge cock because it's his Mars body. His Mars body's got a bigger cock because on Mars it's because the gravity you have a bigger cock. I don't know science, but I'm assuming that's how it works.
What if it's a smaller cock?
Oh,
what if it's reverse? If it's everything else in your body is bigger and muscular, but your dick is really small.
Oh, that kind of sucks. I'm not going to Mars.
Sorry, it's just gonna happen.
I don't want to go Mars.
You're gonna have to go to Mars.
It's like that sounds like an anti-vaxxer like argument.
Go to Mars, your dick shrinks.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like something like that. There's no scientific basis to any of this. No. I watched a video on YouTube.
And I talked to a guy. He said his dick shrunk.
Yeah. This doctor I talked to said this. Oh, what doctor? A doctor.
You ever hear those Mad Maxon commercials where the doctor is in those commercials? That doctor.
I bought my car from Max Madsen Mitsubishi.
He's mad, he's bad.
I get fucking phone calls from the doctor all the time.
This is the doctor.
100%. If I had one, I'd play it for you right now. I get it like 2-3 times a year. I get a call from the doctor.
And he would tell you that your penis would shrink if you went to Mars.
Hello, this is the doctor. Your penis will shrink if you go to Mars.
See?
Yeah. I don't know what accent they're trying to do there.
I think they're trying to do Indian.
That's what it kind of sounds like. But it's like, is it like owned by an Indian guy? Is Max Madsen Indian?
I don't know.
It doesn't sound like an Indian name.
He's bad, Max Madsen.
Local Chicagoland commercials for you people. Max Madsen, Mitsubishi.
He may be mad, but he's not crazy.
Yeah, exactly. It's not Max Patel. It's Max Madsen. It's not really.
It's because the doctor is the Indian one.
Yeah, but I know. But I don't know. I don't know. It's too confusing.
That's really funny.
The local jokes will get you local laughs, Steve. Local jokes will get you local laughs. And then finally on top of it,
200-300 Empire.
He died.
Aw, that's not funny.
No, that's not funny at all. Local Chicagoland commercials they're just like
773-202
boop
boop boop boop
Luna. Well, the other one that people know is Adriana Furs.
Adriana Furs.
I was actually reading a pretty
Is
funny.
Burlington Coat Factory local?
No.
Okay.
I was actually reading.
Well, only local, I should say, because they're definitely around here. But
there was
they're more the great coats.
I was reading an article about the guy who does. Is it Jones Barbecue and Foot Massage?
Oh, yeah. Jones Whack-Ass Barbecue and Foot Massage.
Apparently, he's a Chicago guy. He's like a Chicago comedian, and they put this together to like imitate Chicago like commercials, like Moo and Oink.
Oh, it works.
When Moo and Oink used
Moo and Oink. Moo and Oink.
Moo
and Oink, are they still around?
No, they're not.
Oh, that's a shame.
Yeah, but the Jones Barbecue and Foot Massage, Jones Barbecue and Foot. But they were talking about the great Chicagoland commercials, about the jingles and stuff that come out of them. And then I was actually reading an article about local commercials and what they do, and they didn't mention any Chicagoland. They were talking about stuff from like Detroit and New York and Columbus, like Ohio places. I was like, Chicago's got some classics, man. The fuck it, push it, pull it,
tow it to Gulf Mill Ford.
Yeah, that commercial has run nonstop on WGN since like 1976. It runs like 5
and
times.
Victory Auto Records. Although they don't have a song, they just have that dude who just like opens the car and the door falls off.
Yeah, Victory Auto Records is the one with the
he
fucking
opens, he opens the door and the door falls off.
Yeah, and he gets like
call Victory Auto Records for a quote.
It gets like 320s.
Yeah.
He's like, nice. I'm gonna go buy some menthols and a fucking tall boy. Which is funny because that commercial has been around for so long that the style of the guy in that commercial has now come back into style. So now he just looks like a hipster driving a 1970s Chevy or whatever he's running. Last bit of news before we're...
and Peter Francis Geraci. Can't forget about him.
I knew a guy who was such a scumbag It was getting divorced. He was such a scumbag that Peter Francis Geraci wouldn't fucking represent him.
Wow, that's intense.
And Peter Francis Geraci will pretty much represent anyone. Scumbag. Yeah,
that was his thing.
So here's a bit of a funny thing. So you know how Games Workshop loses most of its litigation that it goes up to court with?
Yes.
They actually sort of won something. The company War Banner, who
I've never heard of them.
They do Saga and they footsore miniatures and all that stuff.
I didn't think they produced the games. They
don't
the game Saga?
I don't.
Or they make minis for Saga.
They do. Let me see. I know this is super exciting. I'm sorry, guys.
War Banner.
Do. Yeah, they do. They pretty much. They do a ton of miniature stuff.
Okay.
So they do footsore stuff. They do Gangs of Rome stuff. They do a lot of stuff. They actually got sued by Games Workshop because War Banner too close to Warhammer. People might get confused. That's the argument that I want to make is like, how do courts figure this out? Like, how do courts figure out a person is too dumb to figure out the difference?
Yeah, but there was that Mac King or whatever in the UK just like handed McDonald's their ass.
Oh yeah, with the Big Mac.
Yeah, because it was like because the place was called Max or something.
Yeah,
I don't know, and like they just got their ass handed to them.
And
that's way similar than War Banner and Warhammer.
But I don't think they actually went to court. I think War Banner was like, all right, we'll change it. But it's like, are you really going to be afraid of you're going to lose that case? Because I don't think you'd lose that case. You'd have to argue like, if a person is looking for Warhammer shit, are they going to be deceived and buy this these 28mm World War II partisan figures?
Also, it's not even the name of their game; it's the name of their company.
Yeah,
it's a different. Like if they released a game called War Banner and it was a fantasy miniatures game, I could be like, okay, like that's. I still wouldn't agree, but that's at least somewhat reasonable. Like if I released a game that had a Warhammer-esque font, it was War Banner, and it was fucking orcs versus humans.
Didn't even fucking look like the font.
But that's the other thing too. It's not the name of a game; it's the name of their company.
Yeah.
No one's gonna get confused. They're gonna be like, "Hey, I want to buy some Warhammer figures. I'm gonna buy from this company named War Banner."
But I mean, even if it was called War Banner, if the game was called War Banner, I don't think Games Workshop doesn't have a game called Warhammer anymore. It's
That's
Warhammer
true.
40K. And they have Age of Sigmar.
Warhammer Age of Sigmar.
Yeah, Warhammer Age of Sigmar.
Warhammer small, Age of Sigmar big.
It's not like this is called War Banner.
I think it's because they're rebranding their stores as Warhammer.
That could be.
That's got to be it.
And with that terrible fucking logo that they're doing now.
It just says Warhammer.
It's do you see the logo that they got now? They just released a new.
Oh, a new one. The only one I saw was just the big block font that's Warhammer. It looked fine.
It says Warhammer with terrible kerning in it.
Oh no!
So it's like got awful spacing, and it's a hammer. But the back half of the Warhammer, so it's like a double-headed Warhammer, but the back half is the 40K Eagle.
That's awful.
Wing. It's fucking terrible, and it looks like it was made in Photoshop with terrible.
Probably was.
Like someone's kid designed this. And was like,
designed it in like
"Hey,
15
Dad,
minutes.
how about this? You could use this for your Warhammer." And the guy's like, "This is brilliant. We're gonna do this, and people are gonna get tattoos of this." It's fucking awful looking. Like, it's not even, like, it's textured, but the texture is so, like, non-randomized that you're like, this is awful to the eyes. It's bad. I should fucking... I'll show it to you off air because I don't want to waste our listeners' time. But that's about it out of Aderpticon. Do we have any other gaming news that I wanted to talk about?
I don't know, man. You tell me.
You tell me. No, I don't have anything new.
There's a Power Rangers game coming out from Renegade called Heroes of the Grid.
Okay.
Oh, it looks cool. Power Rangers are back, baby.
Here's the new.
I guess they never really left, but oh, that's poopy.
That looks terrible.
It's poopy.
Yeah, it's like it's not cool. And like, can you see like the texture that they? God damn it!
It's all pixelated.
Well, that's
Oh, it's not pixelated. It's supposed to look like papyrus, but it's bad.
yeah. It's fucking bad. Look at the
It's poo butts.
look at the kerning. Look at the kerning.
I'm not a fan.
Look at the kerning.
I'm not a fan.
It's like the font isn't even like an original font. It's literally a Photoshop font.
Yeah, I'm not a fan.
Yeah, it's fucking terrible. Oh man. Oh, they should have got a professional graphics designer to put that together.
There's a bunch of minis for Battle for the Grid. There's a little mini Megazord. There's the mini pig guy.
I never liked Power Rangers.
I mean, when Power Rangers came out, I was 8, so I was definitely in the prime age demographic to like Power Rangers, and I most certainly liked the shit out of Power Rangers.
Well, I liked Amy Jo Johnson, but that was about it.
Well, I mean, everyone liked Amy Jo Johnson.
And then the Yellow Ranger died.
That's true. That was sad. Also, the Yellow Ranger was a guy in the original Japanese version, so when you watch the footage, if you look, like, he just blatantly has a huge package.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, which was great.
And then they bullied the Blue Ranger because he was gay.
It's true.
God damn the 1990s. I was watching the new Sabrina season on Netflix.
Oh,
Sabrina the Teenage Witch.
The Chilling Adventures of
The
Sabrina.
Chilling Adventures of Sabrina.
Yes.
And there's a scene where they're in a modern American high school and they're bullying this girl because she's trans, and I'm like, have you been in a high school in the last 15 years? Like, that doesn't really happen anymore. Like, not like that. I mean, there might be. I shouldn't say there might be. There is probably bullying that is going on that's much more subtle. But, like, to blatantly do that in the middle of the hallway, first of all, this kid would be expelled because 99% of schools do not do that anymore.
Well, it depends on where you are. I bet you in Georgia it'd be fine, or in either of the Carolinas.
You know,
Kentucky.
It's such a big deal nowadays. As a guy who works in schools, I could tell you it's a big fucking
But
deal.
you're not in Kentucky.
It's true. I'm not in Kentucky, but neither are these people. These people are in Massachusetts.
Massachusetts.
Yeah, so it's not quite or at least in New England. That's not going to happen. Like it should be a lot more subtle. It shouldn't be like some jocks bullying this girl because she's trans. It's like it still happens, but it's not like that.
Yeah, I mean, but it's TV.
That's TV.
You gotta be blatant for TV.
I know.
You're complaining about a show's lack of realism with the show about a teenage witch. Keep that in mind.
Well, also their version of Satan kind of sucks.
Fair enough.
He's a big goat man.
He's no who played the devil in the guy who played the devil in Reaper. He was the dude from Twin Peaks.
Oh, yeah.
Dozy dotes and ozy dotes and the lambs. He's the best devil.
No, the best devil's Peter Stormare in Constantine.
All right,
I am the fucking devil.
All right, Peter Stormare is pretty dope. I will.
Where's the money, Lebowski?
I'll give it a tie. I'll give it a tie between those two.
Ray Wise is the guy's name.
Ray Wise, yes, Ray Wise and Peter Stormare. I'll give it a tie. That's a tie. I can't. You brought up a very good counter. You brought up a very good argument. I can't say that he's better though, because I think Ray Wise is fantastic. But I will straight up put them at an equal level. For different reasons. Entirely different reasons, but yes.
Yes.
I found Pancake's house.
Pancakes house.
We just had fucking pancakes. I don't want any more pancakes. We go to Pancake's house. All right, you fucking psycho. Shep, what the fuck you doing? I was banging that girl. Fargo, the movie's great.
Yeah.
Also, people still think that's a real thing. People still think it's based on a true story.
It seems like it.
Yeah, well, it's the Coen brothers put that they've literally stated multiple times that they're like, no, we put that on there because we just wanted to show that to anyone you could just put it on there.
Yeah.
And he's like, it doesn't mean anything, and they're like, yeah, no, we made it up. It's completely fictionalized.
Yeah. Well, I think like the best version of the based on true events is Argo, where it's like. It's a great movie. I love Argo.
Argo's a really good movie.
But doesn't make the Canadians had a lot more to do with it.
Are you telling me that Ben Affleck didn't personally save all of those people?
Yeah. Also, the guy who Ben Affleck played was like a 4'5" Mexican American. he was like a really tiny dude.
He was no
He's
Batfleck?
fat. He was no Batfleck. All right. Did you see the preview for the Joker?
I think it looks fantastic.
We live in a society.
Yeah, I think it looks great.
Yeah, it does look great.
I'm very excited about it. Like, because when I heard they were making a Joker standalone movie, and I was kind of like, eh. And then I heard Joaquin Phoenix was playing the Joker, and I was just like, I'm fucking in.
Yeah.
Because that dude is great.
Yeah.
Did you see You Were Never Really Here?
No.
You need to see You Were Never Really Here. That movie's fucking phenomenal.
And he's like man gets kicked and groined by society.
Yes. He lives in a
The society.
It looks fucking great. I'm very excited about it.
That's the thing that I find most funny about it is the fact that that movie plays so heavily into that what the current Joker memes on the internet are of
Yeah.
like society fucking beating up on this Joker guy. It's like, gamers, rise up!
Rise up, gamers!
It'll be interesting to see where it goes.
Yeah.
So go to Game Classy
There
Facebook
is no
page.
Planet Arbitrary.
No, there is no more Planet Arbitrary. Go to the Game Classy Facebook page. Game Classy Facebook, Game Classy podcast on our Facebook. Best way to get in contact with us. Like, comment, and subscribe on the iTunes and the YouTubes. Both are great ways to help out the podcast if you like us. We still do this for free and ask of no money for you, but one day we're going to come for it, just so you know.
We're coming for your wallets.
We're coming for your wallets.
We're going to do merch.
We're gonna do mugs.
We're going to do Patreon, merch, subscription, everything. The whole 9 yards.
Pictures of Steve's anus.
Shh. That's only for the top level Patreon subscribers.
How do we know that Steve's anus? You just have to trust
It's
us.
on anus.
it's a anus.
Yeah,
An anus.
It's an anus.
You could also listen to our sister podcast. Steve, is a Play On podcast coming back, or is it?
Shin pure on the pod. Neo. We've resurrected.
You've rebranded it.
We rebranded. Episode 1 is in the can. It will be uploaded at some point.
Nice. Who's doing it? You? Who else?
I'll leave that for everyone to be surprised by.
Nice. All right. Well, I'll be interested to see how that goes. So excited about that. You can also subscribe to their Facebook page, which is
Shin Play On Pod Neo.
Yeah.
You also it's at Play On Pod if you look.
Yay! Da, 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 da,
Wrestle with Jimmy.
Yes.
Wrestle with Jimmy. Wrestle with Jimmy.
I still don't find it that funny. I don't get it. I don't get it. I don't know what's going on.
Sandwiches have bread, Anakin.
That I get. That I get.
That's good.
Me and my son are hanging out tonight because my wife and daughter are doing an overnight at the Field Museum. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, he's only going to be up for like 2-3 hours. So I'm kind of like, maybe we should sit down. I should show him like Star Wars or something like that.
A Star War?
Maybe we should show him a Star War. But I'm like, should I show him episode 4 or episode 1? And then I remembered episode 1's like 4 hours long, and it's terrible.
Is it? I thought episode 1 was really short.
No, episode 1 is long.
Or was episode 2 the really short one? One of the prequels is really short.
Yeah,
I think it's 2.
Episode 1 is the one where it's like halfway through the podcast scene, in the pod race scene, you're like, fuck, this is still going
It's
on.
Odie Mandrell!
Yes! I'm going to Star Wars Celebration
so fucking bad.
next weekend.
Oh, yeah. It's really close to here, isn't it?
Yeah, it's going to be at the Rosemont. Well, not close to here, but close.
Well, yeah.
And relative distance. No, it's at the Rosemont this year. And they keep like announcing all these people are going to be there, and I'm like, these are people who would have been at like Wizard World like 10 years ago.
You getting a Hayden Christensen auto?
No, I'm not doing any autographs or any pictures or anything
Not
like that.
getting a Hayden original?
I'll get him to sign that Pizza Date movie, whatever the new one he's in.
Nice.
The fucking
Get him to sign Jumper.
get him to sign. The Jumper was a good movie.
I haven't seen it. I heard it's pretty good, actually.
It was. I mean, it's not terrible. It could have been. It could have been better, but yeah, it's not good. He did a pizza movie with Emma Roberts, and
Who's Emma Roberts?
Julia Roberts' niece.
Weird.
It's called Little Italy. I gotta see if I can find a poster for this.
Oh, man. It sounds like a shitty-ass romantic comedy.
It really is. And it's like these two like the whitest people in the world playing these two Italians. And you're just like, whoa, this movie is totally not greasy enough.
You need a lot more grease and a lot more swarth.
A lot more swarth. Why is he a pirate? Hey, you need a little bit of grease. You got a little pepperoni.
A lot more swarth.
Oh, this is the poster for it. It's fucking terrible.
Vince, the best pizza, a slice of heaven.
Yeah.
Oh, it's from the director of Miss Congeniality and How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days.
I mean, like, look at that. Look at that poster. Like, those are not two Italian people.
No.
Those are two white people. Those are like the
Yeah.
fucking Von Trapps right there. That's how white they are.
That's for sure.
Yeah.
Although he does kind of look like a greasy Jersey Shore guy.
Like, well, a little bit, but not the greasy. The greasy
He doesn't
Shore.
have enough fake. There's not enough. You know why? No fake tan.
Well, and also the Jersey Shore. A lot of them aren't really Italians. They just act Italian.
Yeah,
They're
and
they just happen to have
and they
be
do
darker
greasy fake
complexion.
tan.
Yeah. It's like, hey, you get the Aiden Christensen, you want to be a little Italian, see some pepperoni, we're going to rub this on your face.
Yeah.
Rub it a little bit of
Like,
pepperoni
hey,
on you.
Vinny, how can you talk to me like that? What are you thinking?
Yeah.
You're not Italian.
You're
like-
Armenian.
Yeah, you're fucking Armenian and Polish. Hey, how can you say that
Hey,
to
whoa,
me?
whoa, whoa, hey,
Yo,
whoa.
hold on. pasta fasul ravioli.
If I'm not Italian, why do I got green peppers in my underwear?
Yeah, and why do I got this ridiculous accent, eh?
Oh, what? Hey, whoa.
Whoa, you're breaking my balls here.
I'm gonna eat some mozzarella, and with my prosciutto sandwich
And my biscotti.
and my biscotti. I love biscotti.
I've got a biscotti, I know how to use it.
There's a place right here near here that makes the best biscotti I've ever had.
Yeah.
Yeah, Elena's Cucina. It's really close to where you live. They have you don't eat biscotti. Never mind then. But it's fucking fantastic. I might go there after this podcast and go pick some up.
You're thinking about the biscotti right now.
I'm thinking about the biscotti right now. Legit thinking about the biscotti. So yeah, that's about it. So Steve, until next time.
Listen to the new play on. Hey.
Yeah.
Game classy.